So it actually wasn't that long ago where I decided that instead of just relying on amplifier simulators and stuff, I gotta get the camera right, is it good? Yeah, instead of relying on amp sims and stuff all the time, which I was getting bored of, I decided to drop some coin and get a bunch of guitar pedals. And when I look back at what I got now, I've got quite a few. You know, I had maybe like, 7 to 8 to start or something like that. But then I spent a couple thousand and I got a ton more. And since then, I've got a lot of other guitar pedals too. This kind of like brought me into the world of, I always liked guitar pedals, like all guitarists, but like it kind of put me into the world of the pedal world, so to speak. Like there's just so much out there and so much what you can do with it. And as a consequence, now I'm in the world of needing a pedal board. So I actually did get one. I did get a budget pedal board to come with it off of Thomann or Thomann or however you say it, the German company. I was pleasantly surprised by the quality of it despite not paying very much of it. And it's a Harley Benton pedal board. It's the Spaceship. So here it is. And I was really pleasantly surprised, as I said, with this thing for a couple different reasons. The first one being that I got lucky enough to buy my first pedal board and have it be a budget pedal board and have it actually be good. I feel like most people don't get that lucky with buying their first of anything, right? But the few things that I like about this is, one, it comes in this like fantastic bag that I really like. As a matter of fact, I've even used it for going on vacation. Like I put clothes in it and stuff, like if I don't use it for the board itself. But this is the board. This is the actual board. And now it comes with all the screws and stuff that you have to assemble with it, but it really didn't take much time for me to do all that. I can't remember if I had to put the Velcro on top. Maybe it came like that, but you got the holder here for your power supply in the bottom. Then you have your screws, your feet for the bottom of the board, so you can position it or angle the board in any way that you'd like. And it comes with all the Velcro too, so you can put the Velcro on the back of your pedals and then fasten them onto the board. So I got my board, as you can see here, and the first thing we're gonna start with actually, so we're going to start with the power supply. That's the most important thing to get right. Now, the thing about the power supply is that it's an imperfect system. It is an imperfect system, but it works, and you could always like stick it on in a different way if you wanted to, but it does actually work just like so. So it's actually a pretty it's not terrible, It'll hold it on there nice and good. Is it gonna be like perfect for like a super hardcore touring guitarist? Probably not, but it is gonna work. So as you can see here, it's looking pretty good. Actually, it's probably better to show this camera. So as you can see, it's just snapped on just like so. And it does a pretty good job of holding it in place. Now keep in mind that you're gonna have to have your feet, as shown here, they have to be extended far enough, that way the board will actually like sit on the ground without the power supply hitting the desk or the floor. Yeah, just keep that in mind. And another thing you need to keep in mind is that you want this part of the power supply to be on the edge like so. And the reason why is because you want to be able to stick your cord. You want to be able to stick your cord into there. Because if it shifts over in between these bars, the cord is gonna hit this thing right here. It's gonna hit the bar. And that's going to be no good. So just keep that in mind when you're setting it up. Now the next thing that you need to do is you need to actually put your Velcro on it. Now some guitar pedals are going to be better than others for this because they're going to have like bottoms that are conducive to having Velcro in the bottom. This one's okay. It's not too bad, but some are better than others. But we're just gonna stick it on like this. And what I'll do is I'll probably make you a quick pedal board guideline, like a signal chain guideline. That way when you set up your first board, you have some like guideline to go by, just a basic one that I'll make for you. Probably put it on travelingguitarist.com. So I did end up making a beginner signal chain guideline. It's on travelingguitarist.com/fretboard-cheat sheet. It's where I put all my other cheat sheets. I understand that sometimes it's difficult to set up your first board because there's a lot of pedals and the signal chain can be confusing. So I think this little guideline that I created for you, it's in a PDF file. It'll give you a solid foundation from which to start with your pedal board, and you can move things around to your liking. So as you can see, I got the Velcro on this one too. So like usual, you're pretty much always gonna wanna put your looper pedal last, almost dead last. In my case, I'm gonna put it dead last. And then I usually put the reverb before it. And then I'm gonna put the chorus. See, this one's more conducive to the Velcro because it's perfectly square on the bottom. So it's gonna go before the reverb. And then we're gonna put this here, the delay, that's gonna go before the chorus. I used to actually put the delay after the reverb, but that's a mess. I wouldn't recommend doing that because it's gonna like delay, it's gonna repeat your verb. It's gonna repeat it. I don't know why I called it a reverb, but it's gonna repeat it and it's gonna be very messy, unless that's what you're going for. Now, I don't have Velcro on the gate yet, but that's okay. Guess we'll actually make a little bit more space, considering we can get away with it. No Velcro on the DS1 for some reason. I must have forgot, but I got some on this. But this isn't gonna work too well because the feet are in the way, right? But it'll be okay. Then we got the Delamo compressor. No Velcro on this either, but that's all right. Now the real question is, do we want to put the Digitech whammy pedal on here or the wah-wah? But yeah, if you guys have any recommendations for good boards, let me know, because I'd love to try out a different pedal board. I guess we could even get away with another one, couldn't we? I could even put the gate up like that. That's kind of ugly though. It's going to be hard to engage. So we're going to put that here. We also need enough space for the inputs and outputs. So let's put that like that. Now, unfortunately, the Digitech whammy, it's going to have to use a different charger because I have the old one, so it uses AC power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At some point, I should get some Velcro on these other pedals. In fact, I might even do it now, honestly. I think we might put the whammy on because I'm a bit of a sucker for the whammy pedal. I'm a bit of a sucker for it. I can't lie to you. It's fun to play with. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is even kind of fun, setting up your board like this. So here's the Velcro that it comes with. You get a big long strip of it, and you just cut it off. And you stick it to the bottom of your pedal. So I'm gonna get some scissors. I think we're just gonna put a small piece for the noise gate. So yeah, we're gonna peel that off just like so. And we're gonna stick it on the back like this. It's Velcro on rubber, so who knows how well that's gonna stick, but I think it'll be okay. Maybe I'll even put a little bit on the bottom as well. I'm gonna stick it on just like that, so it fits on there pretty nicely, actually. I'm gonna stick that on now. Now for this one, we're gonna get a more serious piece on it, like that. I think that'll be fine. Might make sense for me to take the rubber feet off the Soul Food sometime. Let's get a piece of Velcro for the Boss DS1 now as well. So just like so, just a piece of Velcro on the end there. It's gonna work just fine. Again, it's not like I'm touring with this, so it's not really gonna matter too much. In fact, I think I am gonna take the rubber feet off the Soul Food right now. I just use a spoon. That does a pretty good job. So we're gonna cut off a little piece for the Soul Food. We're gonna have to cut some width off that though. Yeah, because it's a little wide. That's okay though. Just like so. Yeah, that'll do. So in the end, it's just gonna look like this when you're all said and done. And then I might as well put one for the bottom of the DS1 as well. And then let's get one for the whammy. Now the whammy is a little heavier, so it'll probably make sense to have a bigger piece. Now should I put another on the top? Probably wouldn't be a terrible idea. There, just right at my thumb there. Probably cut half of it. That way I don't cover too much of the sticker. That'll do. I think that actually might work better. Yeah, let's use that one. I'm gonna stick that on top just like so. And then while we're at it, let's take the rubber feet off. Ideally without scratching the shit out of the pedal. I already lost all the rubber feet on it anyway. There we go. Now every pedal is locked in here decently. And we are going to get one for the bottom of the RC5 as well. So as I said before, is this going to be rock solid enough for like a touring gig or whatever to take it around? Maybe not. But for your first pedal board at home, just to keep your setup nice and neat, I think it should be just fine. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get all of the power cables set up for each board, and then we're gonna attach all the cables. Now, if I had to do this particular part over again, how I would do it is I would actually probably put all the power cables into the power supply first, rather than putting all the pedals on the board and then putting all the cables in, because I ended up just taking all of them off in the end anyway in order to get everything in there properly. And I think that would be a better way of going about it. So you know, ideally you want to learn from my mistakes here and you know, just attach all that stuff first with your power supply, and then you can take care of the rest of the board after. Okay, so now we got all of the pedals connected to some kind of power, or to a cord, excuse me. And so now we can start connecting the cables. It's definitely like a work in progress. You'll learn tricks of the trade as you go along, myself included. Like if I had to do this over again, I do like I said before, and put the power cables into everything first. You're also going to need a long cable to connect this output to the noise gate input. So let's actually take that off. And then let's take that out a bit. That way let's get that in first. That way we can stick the power in after. And we can get another one in here. This is why I prefer pancake patch cables as well, just because I find that they're a little more flexible and they don't have so much like physicalness to them in terms of the space that they take up. There. So now the board is ready to go, and then we can set it on the ground and it shouldn't fall apart or nothing. So now we're going to connect the guitar pedal, or the guitar cable that goes from the amp to the loop station. And then we're going to connect the power cable to the back of the power supply, and we can give it some power. And I find this cable right here, this long, semi-long right angle jack, this instrument cable, I find it works really well for connecting these two pedals like so, because it wraps around just like that. And then what you do from there is that because my Digitech Whammy uses a different kind of power supply, I'll use a separate power supply for it. So I'll go ahead and I'll get rid of this one, which is for the Trident. There, now everything's ready to go. So this is what it ends up looking like when it's all said and done. I got the board all connected. It's all connected to my amp, and everything works the way that it should. We can turn that off. Got the gate turned on to get rid of some of that nasty noise, reverb, delay, all that stuff. So it's good to go. So if you're anything like me, you know, this is actually the second time I've assembled a board. So you know, it's a skill like everything else in this industry, for lack of a better word. So I think with some practice, you figure out, you know, little tricks here and there, and I'm sure the next time I assemble one, I'll be even better at it. I know I was much better at it this time than I was last time. The first time it was a bit hectic. You know, you got to figure out like which pedals go where. You know, or sometimes you just like mix up cables, or like one cable isn't pushed in far enough. Like I had that issue before. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. Turns out I just had to stick the cable a little further into the input. And some pedals will have like a wet added or a dry added. So in this case, I have it connected to the wet added from the Digitech Whammy, and then it worked fine. But yeah, you'll get a better feel for it, as I probably will as well.